Hello, in this video we are going to learn about Ansible inventories. So before we start creating Ansible inventories, what we'll do is we'll create EC2 instances to configure them. You can use your local VM, but now we normally use cloud instances, so we'll start with that. So there are two ways you can create an inventory using a YAML file, or you can create your inventory using .ini file. Now this is my AWS console. If you are new, you can create an account, free tier account, and you can practice this. Now I'll go to my EC2 instance menu, and then I'll select launch an instance. After that, I'll give an instance name. Let's say Ansible, and then I'll select an Ubuntu instance. Make sure you select a free tier AMI, and yeah, just look at the settings which I'm selecting, and then you can choose a T2 micro instance which is free, so you'll not incur any charges. Okay. Then after that, choose a key. Now this is important because we are using static inventory Ansible file, so you'll require a key. So I'll say Ansible tutorial key. Okay, it will be automatically downloaded, and it will end in your download folder. Make sure you select a PAM extension of key, by the way. Make sure you select a .pam extension key. Then we'll move to the VPC section. If you don't have a VPC created, you will have a default VPC which is there in default by AWS, so you can select it. Then you can edit the VPC. I'll choose a VPC which I had created, and make sure you select a public subnet group so that you have a public IP on your instance and it has a public access. It is able to connect to the internet. And after that, you select enable public auto assign public IP. And let's create a new security group. And you can give a description if you want, but I'll skip now. And make sure you have this SSH port 22. Now using this inbound rule, our Ansible inventories, our Ansible is going to make a connection with the server. Now here it is important to see if you have static IP internet, like if you don't use DHCP mode in your Wi-Fi, you can mention your my IP there in the source type, or you can mention anywhere if it is dynamic. Now I'm selecting you can select my IP even though it's dynamic for a particular session, but I'll be making many videos and I don't know how many days it will take me, so it will change my dynamic IP, and I don't want to assign my IP again and again, so I'll just select it anyway and give a description to your inbound rule. After that, you can leave it at default GP2. Now this role is applied to your instance, and I'll create a new role. So this I'll use SSM to connect to my instance. So if you want to use SSM, you can create a role over here. You select AWS service and then select EC2. Okay, and then select next. Okay, make sure you use the same steps as I'm doing. and then you have to search here for SSM, and you'll get a role saying that is Amazon EC2 role for SSM. And then you have to choose one more role, that is SSM instance core. Yeah, SSM instance, Amazon SSM managed instance core. Now I'll give a role for my instance. I'll give it as you can give any name which you want. After that, click on create role, and that's it. Your role has been created. Make sure you remember the name of the role. And now I'll just do a quick refresh, and it will appear. Yes, it should have appeared. Yeah, SSM for Ansible tutorial. And rest of the things you don't want to, yeah, you can leave it as default. And okay, it's not allowing me to make this in the particular AZ. I think I'll select a different AZ. Yeah, I think this is something. Okay, it's giving me error in Mumbai region, so I'll select an AZ, different AZ, public one. Make sure you select public one, and yeah, that's it. I have launched an instance. Now it's saying pending state. It's in pending state. So it will take time to start. And let me now this, if you have selected your instance, then you can see the details of the instance. You can select the AMI, you can check the AMI name and all. Okay, now my instance is running. There's an SSM agent is saying it's not online. It would take time because the instance is not initialized yet. Okay, the instance is initialized, and you can connect it instance, you can use it from there. Now what I'll do is that I'll copy my Ansible key to my current project directory. In my current project directory, I'll copy it, and that's it. Hope you have followed this up till here. You have successfully configured an EC2 instance. As you can see, I have moved the instance key in the project folder. Now, we use Ansible inventory files? Because these are the centralized files that carefully catalog managed nodes that are your host within your environment, and the info stored here about the host helps Ansible to execute commands and playbooks across the host. And you can use INI or YAML files. Now hosts are like individual servers, individual managed nodes, or you can use groups. So groups are like a logical collection of hosts, which which enables you to target entire groups for automation tasks. All right. Now you have to give the but I'll show you first the permissions what I have of this file. So this is the command which use to see the file permissions. This first three represents the user permissions. This next three represent the group permissions. All right, and the remaining and the last three represents the others permission. So this is like your permission of what a user can do on your machine. So you have to uh, give it at least a read key. Even this permission is fine, but I will give it 400 permission. So that means that it will only have a read only access by the user. So you have to enter chmod and then give it specify the permissions which you want to give, and then the file name. Now if you see, all the remaining permissions have been revoked and it only has read permissions. Now let's create an inventory file. So now this will be my single host, okay, web server number one, and I will mention my Ansible host. Now to find this, you can go to your EC2 instances on AWS, and there you will get your public DNS. You have to copy it and go back to your VS Code, and you have to paste it over here. All right. Then you have to specify your then you have to specify an Ansible user. Now to know this, which let's say you have a different OS and you have to find out, what you can do is just select the instance and go to connect, and you will find your user in the SSH client over here. All right. If you can see the below, also you can get the steps which of the keys. If you see there, you can see the user, it's Ubuntu, and then I copy this and go back to my VS Code. Okay, this will be a user which Ansible will use to uh, execute the command. Use the Ansible port, which is 22. uh, so why we specify this is because this is the only port that is open, and Ansible will use this. If you see the security group settings, here I have put inbound rule for this instance, and the port is 22, so I can connect this instance on port 22. All right. And I'll give it a port. Secret key, and I'll also mention the private key which Ansible can use to log into the system. So it will be the Ansible dash tutorial, which is here, and since it is which is in the parent directory. Now go back to the terminal and execute the command. Module ping, and then give it the name web server number one, which you have mentioned above, and just type yes. Okay, and there we go. There is a method to disable the host checking, but it's not not recommended, so I'll just type yes. So I have not disabled the host checking. So and that's how you connect. That's how you use this. This will just give a pinging module, which is a pre-built module from Ansible. So what will it will do is that it will ping a server, and based on the response you get from the server, it will show the success message. Now let's write an inventory YAML file. So what we'll do first, we'll specify this all, and then under that, then I specify the host, and then I mention the host which I had created earlier. It was web server 1, and then I'll mention the attributes, sorry, variables. What's creating error? Okay, sorry. Now this is a YAML format, and those who cannot understand the syntax, you can watch my video. I have uploaded a YAML video in which I have gone through the basic syntax as well as some of its data structures. Okay, I was missing a semicolon there, and I mentioned the host and whatever which I had mentioned in the .ini file, the attributes I have to mention it over here. Then you can mention over here the SSH private key. Okay, now let's execute it. Same way you have to execute it, how you execute the .ini file. Since we are not having a playbook, we are using this pre-built Ansible modules. Okay, so I have not mentioned the names, right? I think, yeah, there we go, and it has executed. Now I want to explain you groups. So select the instance and click on image and templates, and click on create more like this, and then specify the name, and I will create more 3 instances. Okay, and make sure you select the proper config this infrastructure details, and yeah, this is a tester role. Now click on launch instances. Select the key, make sure select the key which we had downloaded, and wait for it to finish the initialization. It's in the pending state. Okay, but okay, it has not given the names in an incremental order, So I'll just quickly change the names and give them proper names. Now let's go back to VS Code and let's write. Now let's write a group. Now I'll use web servers as a group, and inside the group, the web server number one will be my host name. Also, I'll add the new server host name which I have created just now. Then I'll mention all its attributes. Okay, let's create variables now, as I have more than one host, and also my Ansible user port and security group are same, so I can use these variables. So to use these variables, what you have to do is that first I have to give the group name, and then I have to use colon, and then use then say variables, which will be vars. I think it's vars, but let's see. We'll use variables first, and then I can give the common attributes of both the web servers. Now you can remove the part of the attributes, and now I have common variables for both the servers. Okay. Now similarly, I'll create the group for app servers. Now create the same variables for the app servers group. Yes, it's now running fine. So this is how you use groups in inventory. You can also use the variables as all, because both the groups have the same variable files. Now we'll see how to use groups within groups. So let's say there is a prod group. Okay, so I can use prod, then I can use colon, then I can use children. Okay, and in the inside that I can mention both the group names. Let's see. Yeah, now it has run the prod group. Okay, so that's how you can run groups within groups. Okay, now let's create the same inventory in a YAML file. So I'll first write all. Now I'm writing this all because I might execute all the configuration, all the group servers at once. That's why I written it all on top. Then I have specified vars. So make sure you uh, use proper indentation to maintain the hierarchical order. Okay, let's try to run this. Saying that I think I have not used it correctly. Mm, Let me use children. I think the precedence was incorrect. Sorry, the indentation was incorrect. So I'm doing this by using an alt key. If you want to give spaces, right? If you want to use cursors on multiple line, you can use alt key and a click followed by a mouse click. Still it's trying, it's executing some, but it's still failing. Let me just adjust the indentation and see. So due to this reason, most of them use INI file because this indentation sometimes creates a headache. Okay. Okay, now it has worked, and yeah, it's working now. Okay, it's still creating the error in web servers group. I think a host, host was missing. Now this has, all command is working. For all it is worked. Now let's now use the prod at a indentation level of all. Okay, and in that I'll mention children as web servers and app servers. Let's see if this runs. Let's see if this executes. Okay, make sure you give proper indentation. Okay, now it has executed perfectly. Web servers, yes, you can see they are executed perfectly. You can see both the host names, web server 1 and web server 2. You can also see the app server 1 and app server 2 executed perfectly. Okay, let's execute prod and see. Yes, prod is also executed. So this will be the end to the part 2 of the Ansible video. Please do subscribe and also like the video and share with your friends. Thank you.